Well, welcome along to the Timeform Sporting Life Weekend Best Bets. David Ord, delighted to be joined again by Matt Brocklebank and Kieran Clark. Look ahead to a cracking afternoon at Newmarket on Future Champions Weekend. We've got one of the big betting races of the season, the Cambridgeshire, to get stuck into. Not quite a maximum field, but still just shy of 30 runners heading to pose. We're going to get the Timeform ratings on screen, Kieran, because it's going to give us our first talking point looking ahead to the traditional cavalry charge. We've got much to bar. Topping the market and topping the ratings.
Yeah, as ever, you tend to get one each year, don't you? An unexposed 3-year-old who everyone says this could potentially be a group horse in handicap. We've got another one this year in Much to Buy. You can see there he's top rated with that P, denoting potential improvement to come. And he was quite impressive at Doncaster. He quickened well off a pretty steady gallop. You could easily say he's well in. He's actually £3 well in under his £4 penalty. The hold-up tactics are a bit of a worry for all. He's a strong traveller. I'm just a little bit worried. We saw unexposed William Haggis horse last week who found it coming a bit too soon in his development in a high-end handicap, and I think that might be the case again here. He finished down the field in the Lincoln earlier on in the year, but obviously he was fitted with a tongue tie last time, so it might just be he had a little bit of a breathing problem. You got to respect him, but I'd take him out of the prices. I'd
just be a bit wary about the ground with him as well. They've always said he wants cut, which is why he was trained for the Lincoln, and I mean, it's good ground as we speak. There's potential for some rain on Saturday, but I think he definitely needs that to arrive. But William Haggis has got a couple of good darts for this match. He's got Protagonist as well, who we're going to see in winning action. Running here with Savvy Victory tying in quite tightly to the form. It's a form line you've been studying.
It is, yeah. Interestingly enough, Haggis has never won the Cambridgeshire, which is obviously out to correct that. This is Protagonist winning at Sandown just last time out. The really good thing here is that this is a horse who's tried in Ireland over a mile and a half and obviously has good form at 10 furlongs, but he's dropping back in distance, but he's got the race won there. For me, he's just dossing a little bit now. Dual Identity, I'm sure we'll come to, has made up ground from a long way back. But Protagonist, I think, is well on top of the line. He's a really progressive horse. Prior to this run at Sandown, he'd won a small field race, a 4-runner race at Doncaster, where he had no real right to come and pick up Savvy Victory. Savvy Victory got first run that day, and Protagonist still managed to come and grab him and overhaul him like a really high-class horse. I think he could be, definitely has potential to mix it in pattern company by the end of the year. He's gone up £8 for the 2 wins combined, so just £1 and then £7, and I think he's still a bit of mileage in the mark of 97.
Kim, we've also got to talk about Dual Identity. On the Sporting Life podcast this week, David Johnson and Graham Cunningham both put him up as their Cambridgeshire horse. Is he high on your shortlist?
I think the draw's a massive concern.
The answer's no. Clearly the answer by body language expert.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to respect him on the fact that the way he's finished off there, he's gone up and he's £2 better off with Protagonist, who got first run. I just worry he's only finished out the first 2 once in the whole of this season. The thing I worry about is he's up against some up and coming rivals. He's gone up another £5, and the draw's a massive concern for me, which we'll touch on soon. But
expand on it now. You're worried about his draw. Why and where do you think you want to be drawn in this?
Well, the last 6 run-ins, for a massive field like this, the winners actually come from 21 or higher. And looking at the pace map, all the pace is either high or towards the middle. I just have a feeling that those towards the far side could be left out on a wing, away from the action. Dual Identity is drawn in 6, and I think the nearest horse near him who likes to race prominently is out in about 12 or 13. And yes, he is a hold-up horse, but he might have to concede some ground early on to then have to come across, and it's not really the track where he wants to come from too far back. I just think there was, at his price, there was enough negatives to put me off.
I quite like a horse called Totally Charming, Matt, who won the big Whirlpool Handicap at Epsom Derby. That was his turf debut, and he looked there like a handicapper going places. He ran okay in the Hunt Cup. We haven't seen him since, but money for him this week. Tongue strap, William Buick. Have I been drinking? Is there a case to be made?
No, I don't mind him at all, Dave. He is a forgotten horse, really, because he looked to be going places, didn't he, when winning over Derby weekend. And yeah, William Buick, as you say, a real statement of intent, and I would back that up again with another positive for Savvy Victory in that they've gone with Ryan Moore, so you can't really fault the jockey bookings on either horse.
Go bold and go big when it comes to jockey bookings for the Cambridgeshire. Right, that's my tip, Totally Charming. Anything else on your shortlist and your selection? I'll let you go first, Kieran. The shortlist and the tip.
Yeah, well, I'll put up a couple. I think I'm allowed a couple in the
You are. You can have
fields.
2 darts to this. William Haggis can, so can you.
Sticking with those high draws. The one I'll mention is Perotto. He's drawn 20. Now, he's a horse who won the Britannia at Royal Ascot last year, and he looked like he could go on to a bit of a higher level. He's been found out in such high level since, but he's been running in small field events. He only ran in 1 handicap since, which was his following start after Ascot, where he ran in the Bunbury Cup, and he found a sharp 7, just not to his liking. And you got to take a bit of a chance on him, but the jockey booking's quite encouraging. The book Billy Lee, top Irish jockey, Marcus Tregonin, your favourite trainer, Dave, he's in a good bit of form, yeah. And I think he's going to get it run to suit. A strongly run 9 furlongs might just be a little bit of a worry, but he's 25 to 1. I thought he was overpriced, drawn 20. And then sticking with the high draws, the one I really like in this, I think he's a cracking each way bet. First 8 places with Sky Bet, first 7 elsewhere. And that's a Side Binter train Brilliant Light. Now, he's a horse who's got really strong form in high-end handicaps this season. The John Smith's Cup's really strong. He was a bit unlucky not to finish closer, but he wouldn't have won at Goodwood when he was second. And then the race last time at Yarmouth really didn't play to his strengths. He's definitely going to get this run to suit. The Yards have a pretty good record in this. I know you're quite keen on one of theirs as well in this, Matt, and they actually won the race last year. And big ride for Dougie Costello. Not many can say they've won a Triumph Hurdle in the Cambridgeshire, but yeah, I think he's got a very good chance around 25 to 1.
Fantastic. On my shortlist, Cambridgeshire shortlist piece that went out on Tuesday, and you didn't read, Kieran.
Yeah.
Very rude to say that. I thought you could have pretended you read it early, but we'll move on. Matt, go on, give us a tip for the Cambridge.
Yeah, top of my list was Protagonist. I think he's a real key horse. I backed him anti-post, Dave. I'm going to bolster the staking plan with Electrical Storm, the other one of Sayers. This is ridden by Kieran Fallon. Drawn a little bit higher. I've been put off. Protagonist, who I mentioned, is drawn really low in 3. This is a lightly raced 5-year-old Electrical Storm. He actually finished ahead of Protagonist in the run at Sandown before the one that we saw him running there. He's since gone to run at Haydock. He was unsuited by drop back in distance and a slowly run race. I thought he was quite an eye catcher, and he's been left on a mark at 92. I think there's more to come from him. Like I say, lightly raced 5-year-old.
Perfect. A second crack at the Cambridgeshire for me, but the first one for the guys. Tips there for the big Cavalry Charge. Let's move on to the 2 Group 1 races for 2-year-old. For the Colt, we've got the Middle Park Stakes, the Juddmonte Middle Park. Let's get the Timeform ratings on screen for this one. Always a championship event, a fascinating contest. Kieran, how did Timeform see it?
Yeah, so you can see that we've got Marshman £4 clear with a P, and I think it's quite hard to go against him, really. I think, do we have the video footage of him in the...
We do have a video, so
yeah.
We'll pull up the Marshman video from York. This is the run that sort of helped him hit the 126, and this looks very strong juvenile form in the Jim Crack.
It's rock solid, so there's already been 3 next time out winners from the Jim Crack, and only one of the first 5 have run, so that just goes to show the strength in depth. You see him here in front in the white colours. He only gets run down by Noble Style late on. The horse back in 3rd that they've pulled miles clear of, he's going to win a big sales race at Doncaster since. So the form, it couldn't have worked out any better, really. And I think Noble Style that beat him here is probably the best 2-year-old sprinter we've seen this year. I'm going to put my neck on the line and say that, really. I think he's a real deal. And even though none of these have won a Group 1, we've got one Group 1 winner here, haven't we? But I just think he deserves to be top rated. He's clear top rated, and he even blew me away at Thirsk when he won his penultimate start. I think he's a proper Group 1 horse, and the way this is going to be run to suit, he's just going to sit prominently and burst clear. Just back him, I think he'll win.
There you go. But don't even talk about the rest here, man. That's the race. But we do need to talk clearly about Blackbeard, another one we've got video footage of. Now, we haven't got his wins in France the last couple of times, but here's Blackbeard in action. This is just a typical teak tough Aidan O'Brien 2-year-old.
Yeah, Kieran, not a massive fan of French racing. He has won a couple of Group 1s over in France, the pre-Robert Papin and the Morny last time out. This is him when he just got nailed by the Johnny Murtagh horse, who's since been beaten. And I just think he was a little bit unfortunate this day. He is, like you say, a real hard-knocking 2-year-old, typical Aidan O'Brien trained juvenile, and he just keeps running his race. Look, he's here on the rail, and he sort of looks like he's got the race won and gets chinned right on the line, and then he's almost fighting back. And we saw that last time out when he beat Persian Force. He showed a really good attitude, I thought, in the morning to dig deep that day. That's good form. It's interesting. I'd be more in line to agree with the official handicapper in the UK, who's got Blackbeard a couple of pounds ahead of Marshman. I don't have a massive issue with the betting market, so I probably won't be having a bet in the race at all, but I suspect Blackbeard might be the one to beat. So we're at loggerheads here. I'm Blackbeard, Kieran's Marshman, and we'll scrap it out on Saturday afternoon.
Let's pull up the pace map for this, because it's interesting, because it's only a small field, but often on the rolling mile in these contests, it's hard to get to the leader. It can suit to be front running and rolling, which we would presume is where Blackbeard's going to sit. So it's a question of whether Marshman can get to him. I think should mention Mischief Magic, who represented the Godolphin team, winner of a group race at Kempton last time. Just the strength in depth for Charlie Appleby really brings him into the equation, Matt.
Oh, absolutely. Look, Appleby, he's not going to be short of potential 2-year-old colts to have aimed at this race all season. And this horse has earned his shot. Let's make no mistake. He's won his last 3. He won the Group 3 at Kempton last time out. You'd like to have seen that form work out a little bit better since. It's kind of mixed messages since. The third's certainly been fairly well beaten. And on the day, the second and third were really big prices. The main market rivals at Kempton didn't quite live up to expectations. So I personally think Mischief Magic has quite a lot to find. And as we saw there on the pace map, whereas Marshman and Blackbeard might be much more towards the 4, Mischief Magic could have his work cut out coming from a little further back.
Just back him. I'll remember that as we watch the middle part. Well, let's talk about the Cheveley Park quickly now for the fillies. A fast and native race, a really good clashing. Let's get the Timeform ratings up. Okay, we've got Trillium and Meditate, the 2 big guns according to the market. And it's up Timeform rating wise, yeah, it's that way. But again, it's not the way the market's got. Meditate's favourite. Timeform have Trillium clear. Yeah,
I think this is a very, very strong Cheveley Park. You've got literally every big 2-year-old race for fillies. Something that's either won or finished second in that race is running in this. There's not many missing anyway. I don't think there's any missing. And you look at those ratings there, Trillium just a little bit clear, £2 clear on ratings, but she's done nothing but improve so far.
Well, let's see him in action. This is Goodwood before she went to Doncaster and the Flying Childers. This is the Molecombe over 5, and this was her first run at the minimum trip. She'd been campaigned over this 6 furlong trip until now.
Yeah, so you see her here towards the rear in the darker cap and the white body. And the thing that really impressed me here was Pat Dobbs just comes through the gap here, and as soon as he says go, she really quickens away and finishes the race well. This was over 5 furlongs. She's since followed up in the Flying Childers when she just denied the Platinum Queen. That was probably one of the strongest fillies races we've seen this year as well. The 4th, who was well beaten, came out and romped up at Ayr last week, and really rock solid form. The only thing I'd worry about, the step back up to 6 furlongs is going to be fine, is again, she comes from the back. She's a strong traveller, but is it a case that a few of these might be able to obtain first run on a track where if they kick going into the dip, yes, she might be finishing strongly up the rising ground, but she might just be out of her ground before that. So I'm willing to take her on, but she'll be there or thereabouts.
Meditate's going to be prominent, isn't she? We've got video footage of her winning the debutant stakes. Here's in the Tabor colours. I mean, it's almost like replacing Blackbeard there, isn't it? A teak, tough Aidan O'Brien 2-year-old.
Yeah, it is another one, and since this day she's run a fair race in the Moyglare, hasn't she? Been beaten by a bit of a flying machine from Durham at Wells Yard, so that form gets tested. As Kieran said, these are proper trials. The Moyglare last time out was probably a stronger race than this one that we saw her win here, but she's already come over. She's won at Royal Ascot. I would give a positive word as well for Paddy Toomey's horse, Treasure Trove. She's already been over to the UK and won at York really easily, and was given quite a cool ride by Billy Lee last time out when just getting up. I thought she was good value for that in a Group 3. Moves up to Group 1, but I think she could be a price.
Swing along too for Carl Burt, the Lowther winner, surprise winner at the Lowther. Interesting to see how she backs up. Matt, tip for the Cheveley Park on your weekend best bet, please.
Yeah, I think I put up Trillium at the start of the week. At the current prices, I wasn't expecting Treasure Trove necessarily to come over for this. I think it is a statement of intent. Paddy Toomey really put himself on the Group 1 map this year, hasn't he, with La Petite Coco and other horses scoring at the top level. My best bet across the weekend, I'm gonna roll the dice in what looks like a bit of a lottery. The 320 at the Curragh. It's this new race, the Goffs Million, huge prize me up for grabs. Number 12, the Franchise. I think his form could work out in the Beresford Stakes earlier on the card, so I'll be hovering over the button with the Franchise.
The Franchise. Kieran, Cheveley Park and best bet.
Yeah, I think Meditate will take the world of beating. The quick turnaround from the Moyglare is a little bit of an issue, but she bumped into a proper top-class prospect last time, and I think she'll go from the front. The fact she stays a bit further is always going to be a positive in this as well. So I expect Meditate to win. We're at loggerheads again, Matt, which is quite a running theme with these video previews, isn't it? Best bet of the weekend, I think Brilliant Light each way in the Cambridgeshire. Everything is teed up for a big run, and yeah, I think he's got a very, very solid each way chance at 25s.
Brilliant. Thanks to the guys. I'm sweet on Winese in the 205 at Haydock, the mile handicap, coming back for break. Stepped up in trip, too keen at Goodwood last time. I think his earlier form looked particularly strong and a bit of cut in the ground's what he's been waiting for. So there we go, a fantastic weekend of action to look forward to, and best of luck with your own bets across it all.